Look at Peaches.
Peaches going ballistic. What are you doing there, Peaches? What are you doing, Peaches? You all good? Oh, she's getting frisky. I guess we're talking about the cat to begin with.
Frisky?
Yeah, that's Frisky Peaches. So...
Oh my God, look at her face. She's like, oh, play
Yeah,
with
but as
me.
soon as you get near her, she'll
Play with
scratch
me.
it. Watch
Yes,
this. I'll put
she
my
wants
hand
to
close to her
play.
head. Ah! And she just tapped me. Didn't you, Peach? Ay!
She's so frisky.
She's such a frisky
She's like,
cat. So how are you going, guys? Welcome to this podcast. Oh, man, it's been a while since I've dragged my wife on here.
Yes, it's been a long time.
Talk up, Kel. Talk up.
It's been a long time
Yes.
I've been on the podcast.
Where have you been, Kelly?
Just working.
Hiding.
No, working really hard. It's tired.
Well, yeah, I guess we can recap 2022, right?
Jesus
How's
Christ.
the year been for you? What have been some of the biggest events that have been life-changing, worth mentioning?
Look, she's just after the ball.
Kel just threw a ball on the ground, the cat's after it.
Definitely getting a house. Buying a house.
We can go through these stories one by one.
Yeah.
What else?
Going back to work after having Joey.
You did that first.
Yes. Well, in order to get a house, I had to go back to
Yeah.
work. Yeah. That's a lot.
What else?
Already.
Cat. We got a cat
We
here
got a
running around in the
cat,
background. Good old
yeah.
Peaches. She's Frisky Peaches. Calico cat. Orange, brown, and white. It's almost a grey, brown, black in some parts, like a tabby pattern, but white, orange, and the brownie black. She's a beast. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. So, how was it getting back to work?
It was it's still very hard. Like, I think every day I ask myself if I'm making the right decision.
And why is that?
Because I'm like, oh my God, my kids are so small, and I want to be with them. Like, I want to, just be home when they come back from daycare.
Can't send them to work yet. That's
Not
probably
yet.
illegal.
When they come back from daycare, and just... I don't think one day goes by without me thinking, and like just wondering, am I doing the right thing? It's really hard. Like, as a mom, your instinct is to be with your kids, I think.
Yeah.
Some women find it easier, and I do respect to that. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying but my personal experience is like, it has a lot of guilt. It comes with, I love my job, but I do feel like I'm sacrificing time with my kids.
Well, I guess we can mention first, we didn't necessarily want you to go back to work.
No.
It's definitely made my life more complicated. Although, for better and worse, they've been definitely pros. I get to spend a hell of a lot more time with the kids than probably the average male
I think
my
for
age.
us as a couple, we didn't know that, but it was a good thing to have you experiencing being at home with the kids.
Yeah, it's definitely been a
yourself.
shock to the system.
And just feeling like you understand now when I say this is a full-time job on itself. Like, you don't get to do anything. Sometimes I get back from work and I'm like, oh, he hasn't done the dishes or whatever. I'm like, okay, I remember what it feels like. I know.
Well, I used to shit on you. I'd be like, Kelly, God damn it, you've had the entire day to do the dishes, and you'd be like, mate, I was with the kids. And now it's like you coming home and you're like, dude, when the dishes aren't done, and I'm like, mate.
It was so good. I can only speak for myself. Like, I think that I understand how you felt when we had Noah, and you were like, I just want to work. I wanted to do things, and I want to house to be quiet and everything. And I was like, I just want to get out of having this kid on me all the time. And it's, I don't know about how you feel, but I feel it was such a good thing for us to experience what the other one was feeling.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I definitely understand more, and I see the sort of unfairness when I was just pumping hard, trying to just keep doing what I was doing with work and provide for the family and just leave the childcare up to you, 95% of the time. And how I remember thinking at the time, like, Kel, all you have to do is just make sure they don't die. Like, just make sure they don't, put a knife into the power socket or, fall off a cliff or something like that. That's all you have to do. Why are you complaining so much?
That would definitely work if it was a pet. It's like, I just have to keep this thing alive. But as a human being, it's like, it's so much more. And as they get older, you see with Noah, you got to engage in the emotional toll it gets. It's just...
I think that's the biggest thing, the abusive relationship, emotionally abusive relationship that you end up in with your kids, where I think like the biggest thing with Noah at the moment is he'll be crying and whinging and having a tantrum because he wants something, and then you'll give it to him and then he'll have a cry and a tantrum because he doesn't want it. And you'll be like,
it's not the right colour.
Dude,
it's not,
I know. He'll be like, I want this thing, and crying and screaming and running around, and then you're like, one, I don't want to give it to him because he's having a tantrum, because then he'll learn I need to have a tantrum to get this thing. And two, if you do give it to him, he quite often is just like, I don't want it. And you're like, okay, so it's not really about the thing. He's just wanting attention. And,
It's always about connection. Every tantrum is a call for closeness and like, I want you to see me.
And it's one of those things though where as much as you can rationalize it and intellectualize it after the fact, or even during the fact, it's still stressful as fuck.
It is so triggering. It is.
Like, the amount... Yeah, it used to be funny. You'd walk around and you'd see kids losing their shit publicly, and the parents would seemingly have no patience and would instantly, snap at the child. And I remember thinking, like, Jesus, these people are psychos. What shit parents, like... But you don't understand that child has been probably doing that 50 times that day, and the parents like it's at the final straw, and it's just like, oh my God, and then just snaps and is like, fine, we're going home, we're not doing this thing, screw this, all right, whatever. And so, but I totally understand that trying to control that urge to, and maybe not everyone's like this, but for me in particular, lose your temper at your kids, scream at your kids, yell at them. Even just sometimes, like just swear in frustration, but having to put a lid on that and control that is so difficult. And it's you really have to just get your Buddhist monk.
It's so, but the thing is, once you have a child, you are facing your own childhood issues. It's almost like you regress to whatever you experienced as a child, in a sense. So you gotta heal your own inner child in order to raise your kids. And there is a reason why this is so triggering. Like, why don't I have patience with my kid? Like, I was actually chatting to my psychologist the other day, saying when Noah hits Joey, I don't know why. It's such a big trigger for me.
Yeah, you were saying.
So much. Like, I just feel like I can be having the best day ever, and when he pushes her or he does something violent towards her, it just triggers me so much. But if you look at it, it's like the hardest part of parenting is dealing with your own emotions.
Yeah,
it's not about the child anyway. It's about your reactions and how you cope with in a very stressful environment.
Well, I think that's a big part of it, right? Like the fact that you have something that is externally making you angry or frustrated repeatedly every single day, when those emotions and feelings aren't inherently enjoyable. So usually you try to avoid feeling those ways because they're very unpleasant, and you can't really avoid that with your kids. No. So you have to confront the fact that...
You gotta confront it, exactly.
And you can, when you get angry and frustrated and everything, it's like, they don't understand. They don't know why you're doing that. They don't realise that it's a causal thing, that you're reacting to them putting stress on you, and which can then lead to them getting more stressed out and everything. But...
it's really
Sorry
hard.
if I cough a few times, guys. I've had a chest infection for the last week.
It's really hard.
So that aspect of it is brutal. And I guess I totally understand that now, where I barely can do an entire day with them by myself before wanting to get to the point of just being like, tap out. And I remember thinking, like, when we first were like having Noah. We were like, oh man, we're going to be the best parents. We're not going to use nappies. He's not going to watch TV. We're not going to give him sugar.
Everyone is an amazing parent until they have kids.
Till the shit hits the fan. Yeah. Oh man, I remember having, okay, we'll do this and this and this. And you do just realize that all of those things make your life so much easier.
And I mean, just the acceptance of like every parent, I mean, most parents are doing the best they can. It doesn't mean people look at parents in a restaurant, for example, with the kid watching something on the tablet or cell phone, and they're like, "Oh my God, horrible parents!" Like, you don't know how hard it was to get their child out of the house, and you just want to have a nice meal. Child's fine. It's one little thing. You can't take one. Like little sort of moment of someone's life and say they are a horrible parent. Like the thing I've learned is like you do you. Like I think whatever just being it aware takes, of that. Yeah. You just be aware. Like you, as long as you are doing your best, you are conscious about your own wounds as a parent, things that you have to heal as a individual, so you don't pass it on to your kids. That is a lot for me. As long as you're doing that, you're doing a great job. Kids are fine. A little bit like, I mean, honestly, like watching things and like, it's not gonna.
Well, the amount of stuff, I was so surprised at the amount of stuff that Noah in particular has learnt through watching shows.
Yeah.
The amount of language he's developed. Even in Portuguese, we've shown in Portuguese shows as well as English shows, and although it is kind of a babysitter TV and you get some downtime, one, it's a tool that you can use as a parent, but two, it's like the learning continues for him, and the amount of phrases that he's whipped out that he learnt from, say, Blippi or something.
Yeah.
Well, I remember we were sitting in the back of the car one day, and we're sitting at the lights. I think it's just me and Noah. No, maybe you were there. And when the light went green, Noah just yells out, "Fire in the hole!" And I was like, where the fuck did he learn that?
I don't know.
Like, where on earth? Because this is a phrase that you would use when, say, firing a cannon or setting off an explosion or something. Fire in the hole, right? It was probably an explosion thing when people were mining.
Yeah.
And they were setting off the explosion in a hole, right? In a mine shaft. And they would say, "Fire in the hole." And it was fucking Blippi. It was damn Blippi on bloody YouTube. One day we're watching it, and Blippi is just like doing a thing on pirates or something and was firing a cannon and yelling out, "Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!" And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And Noah learnt that and just whips it out randomly when he was like, the car's about to go because the light went green. He's like, "Fire in the hole!"
Side note, thank you, Blippi.
I know.
You've been amazing.
But and one thing that I've noticed with him is he says words with an American accent sometimes.
He does. So
fast. He'll say that's
a fast.
Yeah, he'll say fast instead of fast. That car cute. Is really fast.
That's really fast. So cute.
Yeah, so.
But in the same way, he comes back from daycare saying, "I want me socks." So, it's whatever is around, they just sponges.
Yeah, he absorbs.
Yeah.
Incorrect. Well, and he does. I've noticed him doing a lot of the past tense verbs. The irregular ones, he'll just make them regular.
The other
like
day,
did Mama come to daycare or something? Yeah, she come to daycare.
I
like,
winged.
Came.
He said I winged.
I winned instead of I won. Yeah, it's funny.
The other day he said otherwise. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was like,
what
you're
a
gonna
conjunction.
do this, mommy, blah blah blah. Otherwise, I was like, oh, that's so cute.
But I think that was one of those things that's really taught me a lot about language learning, just watching your kids learn a language and seeing how many errors they make, but that they just take it in their stride and they don't let it slow them down. They're not consciously thinking about it.
No.
They're solely focused on communication. That's all they care about. They don't give a shit about being correct, about making mistakes, about being, seeming stupid. And oh my God, Noah, I remember initially we were like, oh, he's going to be delayed because he's learning 2 languages, so he's not going to be as good at either one of those as if it was a single child just learning one of those languages. And seriously, he does not shut up.
And every single person is like, oh my God, the girls at the daycare, his language is so good.
But I think a big part of that is that he is so social and he is he just never shuts up.
He does.
He's constantly talking and just filling the silence with him, just like he doesn't even know what he wants to say, and he'll be sitting in the car and he'll be like, Dada, and Dada, and we'll go.
And next week.
And when I was a baby, and then, Dada, and you just be like, just finish your thought.
He goes like
Finish
this, Mummy, did you know when I was a baby, next week, I was doing this. I was like, yeah, honey, you couldn't say anything, but now you can. It's like, oh, Mummy, when Joey is a big girl, next week.
I know, some of the...
It is so good.
I think the most brutal thing is, too, you notice how much they are only interested in having the conversation, but not actually interested in listening or learning from you. Like, the amount of times that he'll ask something or he'll be chatting to me about something and you can just see, or he'll just interrupt me when I try and reply and he'll be on to the next thing. And you're like, you don't give a shit about what I have to say or actually even learning the answer to the question. You just want to talk. And so he'll be like, Dada, what's for dinner? And I'll be like, so I think we're going to... And he'll be like, Dada, it's cold outside, isn't it? And I'll be like, yeah, that's because... And he'll be like, Dada, can I watch TV? And he'll just be like, fuck, Noah, finish your thought and let me reply to you. You're just excited all the time.
He is excited to participate.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
It is so funny just watching all these things and knowing that you've gone through them too when you were a kid and are such a different person now. But that, I would have been, probably very similar to Noah. I think I was a little quieter. I wasn't quite as sort of, I don't know, chatty as him. And it's so funny. My niece is really chatty, Izzy, and she's 5, about to go to primary school next year. And
primary school already?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So preparatory, the first year of primary school. But so she was sitting in the car with Noah, and my dad was taking her to I think they were all going to the storage unit to get some stuff there. And Dad's like, Izzy's normally chatty as, but she couldn't get a word in. Noah wouldn't shut up. He was just
when he's excited,
talking.
he really, really talks.
And he's so pumped when he's around Izzy and all his mates. Yeah, so the kids has been fun. How's Joey been?
Jojo's?
Yes. Jesus Christ, she's an animal, guys. She is a fucking animal.
Oh my God, Joey.
She has been such a big part of why Aussie English has been going slow this year.
She's such a big personality. Like, she's not what I expected, like, having a baby girl would be like. I thought, honestly, as much as it sounds, cliche, like, I thought it would all be about...
She'd be demure, quiet,
it'd just be
respectful.
A little easygoing, sort of, like, really cute baby girl, like, all about... I would dress her, like, put her really cute clothes on her and just be, like, really... And she is not that cute.
Oh my God, she's an absolute animal, guys.
She's really full on. She's really, it's sort of like you can't have one side without the other. Like, when she's happy, it's contagious. She's so amazing. She laughs and she runs and she's like, doesn't shut up either.
She's so chatty and funny.
So funny. Doesn't say a word, but she's just like, so funny.
And she'll do these things, like she'll just run up to you and be like, and smile at you with this evil smile.
And she puts on faces like she's really, but the same way she's that intensity when she's happy, she has the same intensity when she's upset, and she's loud. And like,
well, you had hearing loss for a while.
She throws things, and it's like
she throws herself on the ground, screaming and just bashing the ground. And you turn around, and she'll look up and then be like, "Oh, okay," and just forgets that she was even angry.
You offer her something like, "Do you want a piece of toast?" It's like she doesn't want it, but she'll take it anyway, so she can throw it on the ground.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just...
and then she'll smile at you, and there's sort of like this power move. This subtle fuck you, Dad. You're like, oh my God, this is so brutal. You'll be like, oh, Joey, so I made this egg for you, and she'll be like, yummy, yummy, and then you give it to her, and she'll just look at you and then smile and sort of squint her eyes, and then just be like, and throw it on the ground, and you're just like,
it is hard to take her, like, with Noah.
So,
I can literally, I mean, he's older, but even as a baby, I would take him to places and just be like, fine, you can play with whatever you want, just be fun. And I can't do that with Joey. First thing we go outside, she wants to run into the road.
Oh man.
And she runs away, or like she's getting into someone else's house. It's just touching everything. It's
it's crazy. You take her to the beach, she just runs off into the water and just keeps going.
Yeah.
She seems to have no self-awareness,
No
like risk.
Yeah.
She's just like not risk averse at all.
Whereas Noah's like, Mummy, hold my hand.
Yeah, and he's very anal about being clean, right? He has this very weird attitude towards getting water on himself or being dirty, and that's been an interesting thing this year where he toilet trained himself within a few days. It was insane.
Yes.
All of a sudden he didn't want to wear nappies, and within like literally a week he was pooing and weeing on the toilet.
Yeah.
And it was because he was so disgusted if he ever peed his pants or pooed his pants. He would be like, that's yucky, oh gross, yucky, Dad, I want to change it. Yeah. But the good side and the bad side of that, the good side is that, he trained himself to go to the toilet really quickly and he rarely has accidents. The bad side is that any time he spills something on himself or he gets a little bit dirty, he's so anal about cleaning up. Like he'll be in the middle of playing outside and he'll get a bit of dirt on his hand and he'll be like, wet wipers, where are the wet wipers? I need to clean it.
He's having breakfast. He's literally eating and he's like, Mommy, can you brush my teeth?
And you're like,
you haven't even finished, honey. But it's like, I feel like he's a bit anxious about it. Like he just doesn't relax. Whereas most kids will just be playing and getting that. Joey will be eating Play-Doh, eating sand, and he's like, oh my God, my hands are dirty.
So often we have photos. You go back and look at these photos with them playing together, and Joey will look like she's been through,
she's seen
a grinder. She's covered in crap. Her hair's everywhere. Her clothes are ripped. And Noah will be like sparkling clean standing next to her. And she's the one that's been like in the mud puddle, just dancing around and everything. And he's just like, that's nice, sitting on the side complaining because he got a drip of it on his leg.
He would never. Never.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny how those personalities come out so early and it seems like you have no control over it.
No.
And we noticed that with Joey. Like we went out with a friend when our kids were at daycare and we went out with Kat and her daughter. And her daughter's about a month younger than Joey, I think. Yeah. And I couldn't believe it. We went out to a cafe and Kat just put her in a little baby seat. Yeah. And she just sat there quietly for an hour.
Oh.
And didn't make a noise. Literally didn't make a noise. Didn't cry. Didn't talk. Just sat there and was just happy eating her food and playing with whatever it was in front of her. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? There are girls there are daughters, there are children out there that do this. Like, Noah never did that. But Joey... Good God, Good
luck getting her to sit down.
She would lose her shit after 2 to 5 minutes. If she didn't have anything to do or had no food, she would be throwing herself out of the chair, trying to get to the ground, and then just running around the restaurant like a nut job.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's one of those interesting things. I'm like, there are so many parents out there who don't understand how easy they have it when their children are that kind of kid that just sits still and eats their food and chills out. And I think it is one of those things where quite often we're like, as much as you'd wish Joey to be like that, we kind of love her personality. Yes. But good God, is it full on?
It is. You sort of like have to plan everything you do with her. Like you can't just wing it like, oh yeah, let's go. It's sort of like, okay, Joey can't sit in a restaurant. We gotta find somewhere outside. We take turns. So you eat first, I will eat. Like it's just...
And it's so funny when we do go out with people and the kids will be at daycare or with our parents or my parents or something, and they'll have their kids there chilling out at a restaurant or whatever, eating food, and they'll just be like, why didn't you guys bring Joey? And you're just like... No chance. Like, have a look at your child. This is not how it is for everyone. Like,
no chance.
And they just won't get it. Both of the parents will be sitting there having a chat, drinking a beer, eating their food, and their child will just be quietly sitting there eating for like an hour or so. And you'll just be like, this is not the norm. Like, not everyone is experiencing it. No way. You'd have to give her Valium. You would have to give her a tranquilizer. She'd have to be asleep. And that's the only way we'd be able to manage this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's been a ride, and I think as much as I love Joey, good God, like, and that's why I think we were thinking of having 3, maybe even 4 kids initially, right? But Joey definitely put a nail in the coffin of our dreams to have more children, because I think it's sort of like a baby Russian roulette, right? You'd be like, the next one could be totally
oh my
cool.
God, if we have another JoJo's,
I think our marriage would probably end with one of us killing the other.
we would just be on the edge. Just like, I don't know. I think we got it pretty good. We got one each. A boy and a girl. And they're very different. So, I don't know. Unless Joey changes. And I do not wish, I don't want her to change. As I said, you can't have one side without having the other. Like, she's either like very intense and happy and then she'll flip. But
I think she's going to be amazing until she's a teenager. That is what horrifies me.
Really?
I think her as a teenager scares the shit out of me. Yeah, I have nightmares about that. That's like I'll just be in the shops doing my own thing and I'll just start crying.
JoJo's going to be a handful.
She's going to be so full on when the hormones start kicking in. Oh my God. I think her musical theme will be Rage Against the Machine with the Bulls on Parade. Fuck you, I don't do what you tell me.
And one side of me is like, fuck, it's going to be so hard. But I hope she's rebellious. I hope she's like, she questions things. And especially, don't get me wrong, I know Noah will be whoever he's going to be.
Be careful what you wish for.
But as a girl, I want her to be questioning everything. To be like, I don't
skeptical.
Yes. I want her to be strong and just assertive, because that's in today's world. It's like if you have a girl who has such a big personality, you got to celebrate that. You don't want to like cut her wings and like feel like she can't be herself. She takes too much space. No, I want her to be loud and to be, herself.
Don't want to clip her wings.
But it does make me tired.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's what we've been dealing with the children, and it just being brutal.
You bought a house.
I only have to handle them twice a week for entire days by myself, and then the other times it's just the evenings, and it's freaking exhausting. I think the main thing is that you can't get a slice of time, like a significant slice of time, to be able to just sit down and do what you want to do. And that's the most brutal thing. Even I remember you used to say like, oh, but you're home by you're home here, I've got the kids, and you're like, yeah, but I still can't think, right? Like, 'cause you can hear them, they're screaming, you'll be like, let's go out and do something, or Noah will be like knocking on the door, where's Dad at? And you don't want to just ignore that. And so it is so difficult trying to balance working from home and having two small children. I don't know how people do it and how they are so productive at times. And I think that was one of the things I sort of had to give myself permission this year to just not be as productive as previous. Because, oh my God, it was just mental health wise. My God, it was so difficult. And you get into these spirals of like feeling bad about not being good at either, right? So, oh God, I'm not doing enough work, or as you were saying, like, God, I'm doing too much work and I'm not spending enough time with my kids. And it's pretty easy to feel not good enough or feel like shit and punish yourself. But you have to kind of also give yourself permission to be, less than ideal for both, right? Not necessarily the perfect worker and not necessarily the perfect parent, because life's hard, life's complicated.
Good enough is my goal. To be a good enough parent, to be a good enough worker, and that is all. If anything above that is a bonus.
It's pretty much just survival for now. I'm just like, when they go to primary school, my God, it's going to be so good. And when you have like 5 days a week of just solid.
But you have other issues.
I know.
Harder sort of.
But I think they'll also be more independent at that time too. They're not going to be crapping themselves and, not unable to feed themselves and unable to sleep in their own beds. That's the other thing, the amount of disrupted sleep, some of which is self-imposed, because I'm like, okay, I'll stay up late and get work done, or this is finally they're asleep, I'll chill out and watch Netflix for a few hours, and then you're like, it's 2 a.m.
No,
and
don't.
I know, it's brutal. I think that too, that amount of lack of sleep, just disrupted sleep, the fact that you just don't have, say, 10 to 9 sleep every single night, and it's just always changing because the kids will regress, or Joey will be up one night at midnight, and the next night she'll be up at 4 a.m, and then the next night she'll sleep through, but Noah will be up, and then he'll be down, and then it's just like, oh my God, I can't wait to have a normal sleeping pattern again. That's probably one of the biggest things that I think I miss. And I think you feel me there.
Yes. I don't get to nap like during the day. I'm either at work or I have the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never like, unless I'm really sick, like it happened the other day,
Mm-hmm.
I do not ask, oh, can I have a nap? It's just like on the go all the time. Kids work, kids work.
It is
kids
so
work.
funny how often now I nap. I had 2 naps the other day. Like I had one in the morning and then I had one in the afternoon. Well, it's like you just need it because you don't get proper sleep.
I just drink a lot of coffee.
Pretty much.
I just, yeah. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
I
All right.
just can't do it.
So we've bitched about our kids for the last half an hour. What's the next topic? A house.
House.
So yeah, well, and a job. They're sort of connected, right?
Yeah, so I had to go back to work so we could get a house.
And the reason for that,
the
reason for that was that even though I make enough, like if you were to earn what I earn as an income from a job where you were employed by someone, we would have easily been able to buy a house just on my wage alone.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm self-employed and I'm not employed by someone else that's a business, which is ironic, right? Because I could employ someone on the wage that I'm getting, and simply because they're an employee of my business, they'd be fine to get the loan. But because I'm self-employed and I'm the only one at the top of this, the business, they wouldn't give us anywhere near enough based on my income. So we needed like an extra $25,000 to $50,000 a year from another job so that so the loan would be increased that would allow us to get a house around where we wanted to get. Near my parents on the Bellarine Peninsula here. Mm-hmm. So Kel had to go back to work, and it was so annoying too because we were applying. We first applied just on my wage, and I think they gave us like $500,000, which sounds like a lot, but you wouldn't be able to buy anything around here for that. That would be big enough for 2 kids and a family and working from home. It would be probably a 2-bedroom apartment or something that you'd be able to get for $500,000. And so Kel went and started working at the golf club.
I was doing like casual hours sort of thing, just if they had any shifts to give me any hours, like that would be nice. But we thought, oh yeah, that's fine.
Well, and you were on a decent amount.
Yeah.
So you were probably on what, 25,000, 30,000 a year.
I was making more than I make now.
Yeah, because you were casual and you were getting loads of hours and you were getting overtime and weekend time and everything. But the annoying thing was then, so we had that income.
Because it was casual,
And because it was casual, and because you hadn't worked there for more than 12 months without taking a month off, we couldn't include it in the loan application. So when we went back to the mortgage broker and said, okay, so my wife's on this wage, it's bumped us up, should we now be able to get more than, say, 600 to 700,000 so we can finally get a house? And she was like, no, she has to have had that job for 12 months and she can't have taken off a month of work during that time. And we were like, are you fucking serious? It's really frustrating. And it was because it was casual, and they couldn't give you part-time or put you on part-time.
Well,
and you would have taken a pay cut if they had. If they put you on part-time, you wouldn't have been getting overtime or the weekend hour sort of stuff.
Yes. And I also, it was a really good experience. I met a lot of people. I learned a lot, but I didn't want to be part-time or full-time in that position.
Yeah, it was physically exhausting.
It was really exhausting. I was like, I'll try and find something else.
Well, you were hustling. You were effectively like a kitchen hand, right? So you were doing dishes and all this physical work constantly on your feet for like 10 hours a day.
Yeah. It was really hard. I mean, I loved it. It was like, I learned so much and I met so many people, but after 2 months, I was just like, this is absolutely exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried to find something else, and I found the job I have now.
Do you want to tell them that story about how you got it and everything?
It is a music school in Geelong. It's been going on for like 30 years. Mm-hmm. They needed a receptionist. So I was like, can probably do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just applied.
Well, you have experience in that area. You worked for the Brazilian embassy.
And I went for my interview, which was really, really nice. I thought, initially I was like, probably didn't get it. Like, they gave me a hard time. Not a hard time, but they were really, I couldn't read them. It was just like, I don't get any vibes here. I thought, I was like, I didn't get the job. Fair enough, I would just keep applying. But then I did get it, which was really nice. So it's been June, July, 5 months?
Yeah, something like that. Oh, you got it in June? Then about 6.
Late June.
Yeah, okay, so closer to 6.
I love it. It's really nice. I'm exhausted, but it's because I can't just walk home. Like the golf club was literally next door.
Yeah.
This place is in Geelong, so I have to get the bus, and it's really bus comes every hour. Or get a lift,
which is what happens most of the time.
Which is, yes, fair enough. But it does take a toll on you after a while. But I love it. I think I'm really lucky. I work in a really relaxed, sort of like friendly environment. I have the best boss ever.
This job has a chair.
He has a chair. He's so nice. My boss is just the best. He's really funny and friendly and really generous. And everyone is so nice to me. I think if the environment wasn't so nice, I would probably be looking for something else, money-wise.
Yeah.
But I really found myself I love what I do. I love chatting to people and parents and interacting with the teachers and just being, I don't know, I love it. So
yeah.
I'll probably stay there for a while.
Hopefully Tony's not listening to this and being like, how long is she staying for?
No, he knows what I'm very open with him. I'm taking more hours next year.
Mm-hmm. Why are you going full time?
Well, yeah. So that is another thing. I'm not cutting so much hours with my kids, cutting off hours with it's more like my very, the little time I have for myself, that is gone. That'll be gone next year. So I don't know how I'll work around it to make sure I get I've been slowly sort of I like having my nails done. I like having makeup on. I like going to do this, little things that I sort of I had to rediscover that would bring me enjoyment and just...
Well, that's probably partly you getting the job and having more income now too, and especially your own income, because I think you found it difficult.
I don't know,
getting
spending
money
someone
from
else's
me.
Money.
Well,
No.
and you would see it as my money as opposed to our money, and that was part of the biggest issue, right? So you would be a lot more of a tight ass and not wanting to spend money, even if you had the same amount of money, but it was coming from me.
Yes.
But because you're now earning your own wage and it doesn't have anything to do with me,
Allow
I think
myself
you give
to
yourself
do more.
permission to do this.
To buy more for myself and to be okay, I worked really hard. I can... And I feel yes, it's awesome to earn more money, but I will not have the same time. And I want to keep doing things for myself and to spend time with my kids.
Well, you just have to balance it and see how you
So
go.
we'll have to work around it next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess there's that. And then, getting the house. So once you got that job, we were finally able to reapply. And it was annoying because this was just as the interest rates were starting to come in. And that was so irritating knowing that the RBA, right, the Reserve Bank of Australia, had said, interest rates won't increase until at least 2024. And then they started doing it early this year, mid-year. And they were doing it month after month, right? So they were increasing it by 0.5% repeatedly. And it was, as a result, it was reducing the amount of money that you could borrow as a borrower. And annoyingly, there hadn't been enough time that houses would have, the price of houses being sold would have felt that kind of impact. And so borrowing potential was being reduced whilst housing prices, although they were reducing after the sort of COVID hype, they weren't reducing as quickly. And so that was the biggest thing for us. I guess we was kind of shitting ourselves thinking, oh, fuck, are we going to be able to get enough money to be able to buy a house in the area that we're currently living in that we sort of like and that we had been planning on getting a house in for a year or two, aiming for that. And, the good news was, we didn't have a deposit. I mean, well, we'd saved up maybe $10,000 to $20,000, but that was pretty much just going to be enough to cover stamp duty and the legal fees and all that sort of stuff.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, but... Well, it's just part of it. And the good thing was, though, the only way that we actually ended up getting the house was the fact that my parents...
Sorry, my necklace it's...
Magnetic.
Magnetic, yeah. Sorry.
Stop playing with it. And so the only way that we could get the loan was that my parents were happy to go guarantors, which means that they would guarantee a portion of the loan. I think like, I don't know if it was 20%, so maybe $150,000. Meaning that if we failed to pay, it would be on them to pay the loan, which sounds horrifying, but at the same time, I was just like, Dad, you just take the house, right? Like, he's got other properties and everything, so it's kind of like, if we fail, you pretty much get this house that you would hope will have increased in value in that time, and also we've been paying it off until the point that, we haven't.
Chances are we're not going to
So you could just sell it.
It's sort of like, we work really hard, and worst case scenario, we don't have disposable income to do other things, but I feel like we will be very... The mortgage is the mortgage.
It's unlikely to happen, but it's interesting, the whole guarantor thing, because I have friends whose parents are like, no fucking way am I doing that for you. And I was like, what? Because I'm thinking, I mean, I would understand it if the people paying the house off were likely to fail immediately, because then it's probably just going to cost you a lot and you're not going to make any money. But like, if we hold on to this house for a few years and then were to fail, my parents would effectively come out making money by just taking the house and selling it straight away as theirs if we couldn't pay the loan off, right? So it seemed like it was a no-brainer, although obviously it was a bit of extra work for them, and they had to guarantor our house using one of their other properties. And they're probably in a position to do it because they have multiple properties. So, they have another house up in the Dandenongs. They were in a position to do it. But I think, it is interesting. Like, I've got friends whose parents were just like, no way, we're not helping you with that. But stand on your own feet, be a man and everything.
You gotta
I'm like,
help your kids, man.
The property market in Australia is fucked. It is so expensive, and it is so hard, especially if you're not living at home, to save up a deposit. And I can't imagine what it's like for a lot of you guys listening to this podcast who are migrants here and don't necessarily have parents or a family, that you can lean on, and you have to do this all yourselves. So my parents were the kind of people that would be like, especially for their own kids, they would bend over backwards to help us out and get into the property market. So good. And I think a big thing too was Dad, because we didn't have the deposit too, something that was really annoying was they still required a deposit to be transferred to the vendor, right? The person selling the property during the period of settlement. So when we signed the contract saying that we would buy the house, and we have a settlement period where after, I think it was 60 days, right? It was about 2 months. So we signed, I think, in September, and we got it at the end of October. I think something like that. May have been October, the start of October, I don't know. But we had to give them 10% of what the house was worth. And so I guess to tell you guys, like, the house cost us, it was listed for 640 to 670. So 640,000 to 670. We didn't like it as much as some of the other houses that we had seen around here, but those other houses had more people interested in them and they were more expensive. And I got the vibe when we were coming out looking at this house from the realtor that the vendor or the vendors were very, very, very keen to sell.
Yes.
And so Lee, the realtor, rang me pretty much straight away after we'd seen this house and was like, so what do you guys think? You interested? Do you like it? Or
it was very clear that they sort of wanted to sell it fast.
And so I was pretty much just like, look, we saw some other houses that we really liked. That house that you want to sell, it would do. And if we can't get the others, we would probably buy it. And he was just like, so what do you think though? Would you put in an offer? Like, they're kind of, we could do it today. We could sign the documents and everything. And I just lowballed him. I pretty much just said, I'll give you 635. I think I said 630 or something.
You did say,
yeah,
you said
I'll give you 630.
630 and
so 10,000 below the the bottom line, and that was where he was like, can you do 635 or 640 or whatever it was, and I was like, okay, done.
It was good.
So we ended up getting it. In fact, it may have been that it was at 650 to 670 because we got less.
You offered 640 and they took 635.
No, 635 is what I offered and they took 640.
Oh, okay, yes, that's right, yeah.
So anyway, it was like I gave them an offer because again, I was in that position of I'm trying to do this as unemotionally as possible, and with the thing in mind of this is an investment in the long run. I don't plan to live in this house with my family forever. it's going to be a nice stepping stone
Hopefully
for,
not.
4 or 5 years, and then we'll find somewhere else and hopefully keep this one and have it as a rental.
Yeah.
But the thing in my head was trying to not be emotional about the house that we'd seen some others that we did really like, but they were just outside our budget, and I could have borrowed money off a family member, or I could have pushed and tried to save as much as possible in a month or something and hope the house was still there, but we would have been at the very limit of our borrowing potential. I think we could maxed out, they would lend us 670, or it may have been 675, and that would have been, a pretty, a lot of mortgage repayments with zero deposit.
Yep.
That would have been like $4,000 a month in mortgage
Jesus.
repayments, which was probably double what we were paying in rent, right? So that would be like 800 and something a week, maybe more. But yeah, so because we weren't that attached to it, but we knew the house would do, I was like, look, if he's going to sell it for less than market value and less than what they were asking for, I'll take it.
Yep.
And so I just made the offer then. So we literally went looking for houses once.
Yes, we did.
And
one
by the end of
weekend.
that day, we had put in an offer for this one
Yeah.
and eventually got it. I think.
And I feel like sometimes I get myself thinking, oh, did we make the right decision? It's pretty small. We don't have a lot of space outside.
I think to put that in context, we live in a 4-bedroom house. It's on a block that's probably about 450 meters squared. I think if Kel's family came over from Brazil and heard you saying that it's pretty small, I think they would probably slap you.
Oh, they do. I send them photos, and I think I sent the what do you call it,
The format of the house,
Yeah,
the layout, the architectural
exactly,
design,
and they were like,
floor
"Oh
plan.
my god, it's so big." And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. It is not big at all. Like we just have enough space for everything."
A big part of that, though, is the amount of crap that we have and the fact that I have a hobby on the side of plants, which takes up a significant amount of space in my office and in our lounge room, too.
But
for
that is
context.
bringing in some money, so
Yes.
we sort of have to compromise.
Yeah.
And I feel like, oh, how are we going to do birthday parties for the kids and everything? Like, there's a whole adjustment that we have to make because we don't have a lot of space. So I do get myself sometimes thinking, oh, maybe we rushed into it, like.
I'm just glad we're in the housing market.
But I'm the same. At the same time, I'm like, wow, the other houses we looked at, they were much bigger, but we didn't have enough money to buy them.
Or it would have been a lot more.
Or it would just be a lot of more
financially.
stress on us, and it's just like, I think, as you said, it'll do. It's okay. It's fine. Kids don't seem to be too phased about the space.
No, they barely even noticed.
Yeah.
We moved all this stuff in sort of like the basic stuff in about a day whilst they were at daycare, and they came home. And the funny thing is, the house it's arranged in the same direction as our other house. It's only about the house that we were renting. It's only about 500 meters away, maybe a kilometer max. Like you could walk there in about 4 minutes. So it was just around the corner, and it's in the same orientation. So north is still the back of the house.
Yeah.
And the floor plan is effectively exactly the same, except that we don't have that extra lounge space that we have
That is a
between the
play
garage.
area they had, yeah.
Yeah, and the kitchen, which is probably why this feels smaller than the other one, because it does have a smaller footprint on the land than the other house did. It had more of the land was house, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just glad we're in, and I think it is one of those things where we just had to find a way.
Yeah.
Huh?
I was just saying it's 3:30.
You got to go.
Oh no, I just want to pee.
You got to go to the toilet.
I just want to do it.
All right, well, we can have a pause. Go to the toilet. Unleash. Do little hand signals. I'm like, what? Okay, and we're back. How was it? Feel better?
Yes.
Kel's got snacks, so I'm going to have to talk while she's finishing a little thing of Bickies here.
No, I can finish and eat later.
You had a high insulin, did you? Or was it low insulin? Low glucose, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we got a house. It's been really nice, I think.
Well, I think having that stress taken off, I constantly was thinking, God, I'm 35 and I still don't own a property. And the news these days seems to be just constantly young people buying 10 properties, all these stories about how easy it is. And you're just like, God, I feel like a failure. I can't even do it. And I'm, we're on okay money, on okay wages. We should be able to do this. It's so hard to save money though whilst renting. So I'm sure a lot of you guys know what the stress is like. And I definitely feel that, yeah, although we've done well in the grand scheme of things, and we have the security now of having a house, even though it's not, the dream place or property or size or whatever, the fact that we've just sort of hustled and made it work and gotten in, and it just, that's one of the biggest things I guess I'm proud of through 2022, that we've worked together.
Definitely.
And it's been brutal, like in terms of you getting a full-time job and everything that comes with that.
All the adjustments we had to make, like, all right, so you have the kids now, I go to work.
Yeah.
I do extra hours sometimes, or I have to work. It rarely happens, but like, I have to do a Saturday, or I come back by the time I leave work, it's 8 o'clock, and then I'm here, it's 10 because I get the bus.
Or if you get picked up, the kids are ratty because they're in the car.
There's so much work behind making it all work, so I can work, you can still work and take care of the kids when I'm not here.
It is this really funny thing. We could go off on a total tangent here, but you do have those moments of just like, why the fuck are we doing this? Like, why? Like, us as in people in the modern age too, you're sort of like, for all of the freedoms that we have, the money that we have, the toys that you can buy for next to nothing, the cars you can get, the healthcare, all this stuff that, it costs money and it feels like we're living so well. At the same time, I feel like compared to people in the past, I've been watching a few of these docos recently on, say, what it was like to live in England in the Victorian times or the Tudor times, a few hundred years ago. And although their lifespans were shorter, their lives were so much simpler, and they were so much more connected to family and everything like that. And obviously, there were all these negative things that came with, say, living in squalor and having to live with pigs in your house over the winter and working in a coal mine and everything like that. It seems like they also benefited so much more from just having a smaller world and a smaller life where you weren't worried about all these existential things, and you got to see family members every day. Like, I'm so grateful that my parents and my sister and her family are so close by, and, they're only 10, 15 minutes away. Yeah. And at times that feels like it was too far. When we were renting, when we were living in Ocean Grove, we all lived within, I think, 150 metres of one another. Yeah. So we could just walk to each other's house, and that was just so much fun because we could just have dinner parties at the drop of a hat randomly. Every week, multiple times a week. And just people could get drunk, have fun and walk home. Didn't have to worry about anything. If mum didn't want to come, dad could just walk down from the house that he was, you could literally see his house from our backyard. So I got a taste, I think, during that period of just like, holy shit, this is what it was like for so much of human history, where families were so close together. But in the modern age, often, and again, the guys listening to this podcast, I would say the majority of you probably understand exactly what it's like, if not more so, like Kel, where your family is thousands of kilometres away.
Yep.
And although you're connected virtually, right, you can talk to them via the phone or the internet pretty much whenever, it's just not the same thing. And, you haven't seen your family in 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
And these are the sort of sacrifices you have to make in the modern age that do feel brutal at times, and you kind of think, why do we do this to ourselves? But, yeah, I don't know. It's just something that I've been considering at times. So it's just,
Awesome.
Just wanting to finish up.
No.
So, how's the weather?
We pretty much spoke about everything, like kids.
Yeah. Hopefully we're not complaining too much, guys. I feel like I've been very negative in this interview, so hopefully it hasn't been too bad.
No, you're not being negative. You're being realistic.
Well, where's your microphone, by the way? Is it hiding? You got it there? Okay.
It wasn't
facing downwards. Hopefully they could hear. Well, the other thing, I guess, that the elephant in the room, literally, or figuratively and literally here, is the plants that I've sort of gotten into and I haven't really talked about much on the podcast.
Yeah. How do you feel about the plants now? Like, I'm always... Not always, but I'm constantly, like, worried that one day you just, like, lose interest.
I have those moments. Not necessarily where I lose interest, but where I freak out of like, oh my God, we've invested so much, or I've invested so much in the plants, time, money-wise, and am really interested in this as a hobby and hopefully a side business to just have diversified our income and, be earning a bit of income from something else. But I think it's like anyone with any kind of job, right? That something could change suddenly. It could be worth nothing, or you could lose your job, or you could get sick and you wouldn't be able to continue doing it. I have those sorts of things at times with the plants where I'm like, oh God, what happens if suddenly they're not worth anything, or they all die, or I die and you've got to deal with it. What the hell are you going to do with these plants that are taking up a significant amount of our lounge room? But it's still really enjoyable. I think it just went through a phase of expansion where I've got, I guess for the context, guys, I have probably about 300 plants in the house.
Yes.
And they range in value between, I don't know, tens of dollars to thousands of dollars. And the whole point of, initially I got into the hobby of just having house plants because it was sort of a nice little break from things. It was a mental health kind of thing of greening up the space, and it's fun to watch things grow and take care of them. But pretty quickly I was thinking, how do I make money from this if I'm going to have a hobby that costs money? How do I have a hobby that either pays for itself or better earns an income? And so I got into the rare indoor plant scene and started going hard with purchasing indoor plants, learning about them, propagating them, trying to sell some of them. And I think too, a big part of it was that I had invested money, or we had invested money in those investment apps, like where you put in, you drip feed sort of money out of your account each week, and they invested in shares. And it seems like a bit of a scheme, a bit of a scam, where they charge you a rate every month. So you do have to sort of invest a certain amount to actually be able to make enough to cover the rate that they're charging you.
Okay.
The app rate fee, right? Because it seems free at first, but it's actually, they're taking like $4 a month to be able to which makes sense, right?
Yes.
They've created the software. But I think that's how they're making most of their money, on top of also obviously any interest on the money they make you through the investments. But I realized, like, I'd invested in Spaceship. That was one of them, which did a lot of Bitcoin and a bunch of other things. And then Raise was the other one. And both of them just lost money, like, for ages. Yeah. Even though I was on, I think, a pretty conservative investment portfolio in both of them. And I wasn't aggressively trying to earn money from them. They just seemed to be constantly going downhill over the period of multiple years and losing hundreds of dollars a year. So I was like, what's the point of this? So instead of continuing to put money into these investment apps, I took the money out and used them to buy plants. And the idea being that the plants would hopefully, even if they were to decrease in value, because the market does go up and down, they at least grow. And so if you buy a plant for $1,000 and in a few months it's worth $500, in a few months it's grown a bit, and you can take cuttings from the plant, sell them off, hopefully recoup, several $100s, maybe even the original price of the plant, and just keep growing it and sell more in the future. So that was the idea, at least. And a good example was, once I'd started learning about some of these plants, you can buy them online from people who sell them on Marketplace, on Facebook or on eBay. Sometimes people don't know what they have. And I remember I bought one plant for, I think, $170. And so far, we made $3,000 from it.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That was from 4 leaves from this plant. So that's what's crazy about it. Like, obviously that doesn't happen with all the plants, but this one, the person selling it had found it at Bunnings, didn't know what they had. They probably bought it for like $20, but then sold it to me for $170, and they made a bunch of money. Right? They were thinking, great. But then I got it and did the research on what it actually was, and spoke to people who I knew at that time who were collectors, and they were like, yeah, that's a very, very rare form of a mutation that's happened in this plant. And so I was like, I'll just grow it out and see what happens. And then you saw me recently chopping it up. So I took 3 cuttings from it. I cut the plant into effectively 4 pieces, right? The bottom of the plant with the roots, and then the other 3 parts above it, and sold the tip for $1,500. And that was when I was like, holy shit, we made literally like 10 times the amount of the original plant just on the tip cutting. And then I sold the other 2 parts for about $1,500 combined. So it's, I've invested way more money than I've made back so far.
Yes.
I've invested a lot more time as well. But it is one of those things where you
selling as well.
yeah.
So.
But I guess my point is, it is one of these things where I like the fact that I have this hobby on the side that it is really relaxing to spend half an hour a day watering the plants, checking on them, seeing if they're okay, but then also being able to make an income from it, hopefully, at least that's the idea. So now I've gone through that acquisition phase where I've bought loads and loads of these investment plants. I've also propagated a bunch of them, so chopped them up, turned them into new plants, and I'm now growing them out with the plan to sell a bunch of them, hopefully in 2023, instead of continuing to expand the collection.
Yeah.
But it's been a very interesting kind of thing to get into, and I think Kel's kind of been sort of nervous about it initially, but our little deal is that she gets 50% of any of the income I earn from it. In fact, revenue. So before I even pay tax on it, I give Kel 50% so that she can do what she wants with it. Usually put most of it into our mortgage account, but also spend a bit of it so that the plants are paying their rent in the house.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not for everyone, but that's also what I've been doing, I guess, on the side. And it's been taking up a bit of my time.
Cool.
Sweet. Okay, so Kel's wanting to wrap up. All right. So, yeah, hopefully you guys are going to have a good Christmas. I thought it would be cool to kind of come on here and wrap up 2022 and tell you what we've been up to. I want to take things to the next level in 2023. I am planning to get down and dirty. We're going to release an Aussie English accent course. Like, this will be a listening comprehension course where you guys can go through, I think we've got a 30-day course where you'll be able to go through 30 different lessons with probably 30 different speakers, maybe even more ultimately. But the idea is to give you a course that you can complete over a month to hopefully do a deep dive into the Australian accents. So you'll have access to 30 or more people, 30 or more different accents, people of different ages, professors, bricklayers, all kinds of people from all over the place, men, women, old people, young people, and you will be able to rapidly level up your listening comprehension. That's the whole point of this course. So we're going to release that in February.
Awesome.
I'm aiming to. Yeah, so we're doing that. And then we'll be opening the academy probably in a few days from when you guys hear this. That'll be on the 1st of January too. So, but yeah, I'm hoping to get way more into things in 2023 because I think things are slowly getting easier with the kids and managing our lifestyle and just becoming accustomed to to what it is to be homeowners and having you work full time and everything.
And 2 small kids.
Yeah, but I do appreciate all of you guys, especially all of the Academy members who are always chatting with me in the WhatsApp group. You guys are beautiful. And you guys who aren't Academy members too, I appreciate your support. So keep it up. Thank you so much. And hopefully, 2023 is going to be a bigger and better year than 2022. So cheers.
Yay.
And we'll have to get Kel on the podcast more often.
Yes, I'll try. When I'm not tired.
We also didn't talk about the cat drama with Peaches. We'll have to do that at some point.
Yeah, there's not so much drama. She's here with us.
Oh, she's fine, but the people that screwed us over beforehand.
Oh, that is for the next episode.
Yeah, we'll save you that story for another one anyway. Thanks for joining us, guys.
See ya,
Chat
bye.
soon.